Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Bhakti Vrksa class of Saturday, May the 30th. How are you feeling today, Sonal Mataji, Garima Mataji? And
good, thank you, Shraddha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And who else is there? Did I see Sudevi Mataji also there?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna, good to have you here. Okay. Right here, and on the Facebook we have Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu and Bhagishri Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances, both of you. So, and Valshana Mataji is joining us here also on the Zoom call. Perfect. So, should we get started then? On Vigyapti Panchika prayers today? Okay, let's see. Are we recording? We are. Okay, so I will bring up the Vigyapti Panchika prayers for all of us to go through, and we will. Now, who can help me here? Maybe I'll have to do that till Kathy or Suyas Prabhu come. But anyway, I'll first get started on the Sanskrit part of the Vigyapti Panchika prayers. And
Mataji, do you want to put the participant order for reading?
yeah, I was saying that I will wait till I'm done with the Sanskrit, and by the time more will join, then it's better to do it once, right?
Yes,
rather than I do something and then we redo it again and again.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Panchika prayers. Let me get that going here. So if you want Vigyapti Panchika prayers, now this is a quiz. If you want to have Vigyapti Panchika prayers, where will you go to get them?
nityasankirtan.com.
Sonal Mataji, you get 100 points for doing that, for saying that. Yes, that's where you would do that to get it. And actually, that's where I'm also going today to open it up. And then I'll download from there and I'll read it. Okay. So I'm just going to switch off some of the views over here so that you have a better picture of everything. So just allow me to have a few minutes here to do that. And I'm beginning to share the Vigyapti Panchika prayers with you. And let me know whether you are able to see the Vigyapti Panchika prayers, which are coming up on the previewer near you. Can you see those?
Yes.
Yes? Can everybody see them?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Perfect. I made it slightly bigger here so that you can read it much better. Okay. Om Ajnanatimharandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganam Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganam Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapt Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Everybody, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Ram,
Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
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 Okay, welcome once again to our Bhakti Viksh event here. And I see that also have joined us on Zoom are Khyati and Mataji and Suyash Prabhu and Preeti Radhika Mataji. So Suyash Prabhu or Khyati, who can give Niral Prabhu? Now I see him on the frame. And Suyash Prabhu, I can see he's coming there to take his seat, and he's going to give us the reading order there. And I have Sasi Shekhar Jani Prabhu watching us on Facebook. And okay.
Mataji, can I post? I have prepared one.
You have prepared one based on all of them here. Do you want to edit that and add some more? If you're ready, then just post it. Yeah, that's more efficient. And read it out to us so that we all know.
Is Rakesh Prabhu also there?
No, Rakesh Prabhu is not here. He's not at home.
Sorry, Mataji, I've already typed.
Yes, Prabhu, you can post.
Oh, okay. So Sonal Mataji, sorry for the spelling mistake. Sudevi Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Suyash, Manasi, Khyati Mataji, Niral Prabhu, Preeti Radhika Mataji, Shraddha Mataji.
I think you missed Garima Mataji.
You missed Garima. She was before me.
Yeah, she doesn't
Check.
read.
The first one, actually.
Yeah, check with Garima if she can read. Garima, can you read? Can you unmute and tell us? Are you in a position to read?
Mataji, I can read, but if I cannot, I will let know.
Okay, so let's add her and then she will let us know if she can.
There is Chitra Mataji also, I see.
She's there as well?
Yes, Mataji, I joined. Sorry, I was late.
No problem, Chitra Mataji. So yeah, you are just in time to jump onto the reading queue. Okay. Yes, Prabhu, please. Just tell me just read that out one more time so that we know finally.
Sonal Mataji, Sudevi Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Suyash, Manasi, Khyati Mataji, Niral Prabhu, Preeti Radhika Mataji, Garima Mataji, Chitra Mataji, Shraddha Mataji.
All right. Okay, good. Matsamo nasti papatma na paradhi cha kaschana parihare pilajjame kim bhuve purushottama yuvatinam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvato yatha manobhiramate tadvan mano me ramatam tvai भूमौ स्खलितपादानां भूमिरेवावलम्बनं त्वयि जातापराधानां त्वमेवा शरणं प्रभु गोविन्दावल्लभे राधे प्रार्थये त्वामहं सदा त्वदीयमिति जानातु गोविन्दो मां त्वया सह राधे वृन्दावनाधीशे करुणामृतवाहिनी कृपया निज पादाचा दास्यं मह्यं प्रदीयताम्. Okay, so let's go and do the translations now.
Okay. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Mataji, Mataji.
Varshana Mataji.
No, Mataji, I'm not there. Second is
Mataji's turn to read.
Devi's turn.
Yeah, but Mataji, I couldn't see that verse.
Just as the ground.
Just as the ground is the only support.
Okay, English part only, right? Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
O Shrimati Radharani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants. Hare Krishna.
O Srimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavana, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
All right, it's reflection time.
Give me a little service at your lotus feet.
Okay.
Radhe Vrindavanadhishe Karunamrit Vahani Kripya Nij Padabja Dasyam Mayam Pradayata.
Radiyatam. Okay, good. So you got it all, huh? Okay. Vaishana Mataji took the cake and ate it too. Okay, yeah.
Nice singing, Mataji.
Good.
Thank you, Mataji.
Kim Bruve Purushottama.
Kim Bhruve Purushottama.
How can I describe my shape?
How do I speak? What do I say? Neil Prabhu, share with us.
Yeah.
Not just-
Govindo Mama Tvaya Saha. That is what he's saying.
Okay, Govinda.
Consider me as one of your assistants.
It's a big deal to be Krishna's assistant, right?
Yes, Mataji. He has to be allowing us to be that.
What else?
Radha Vrindavan Dise Karunamit Vahini.
Yeah, Radha Vrindavana Dishe Karunamrita Vahini, right? So she's the queen of Vrindavan, right? Radhe Vrindavana Adhishe, right? You're the queen. And then Karunamrita Vahini. So Karuna is what in English?
Compassion.
Mercy.
Mercy, exactly. Karuna means mercy, right? And then nectar of mercy. And she's what? Karunamrita Vahini. She's a river.
River of
Yeah.
mercy.
Okay, good. Anything else that you want to share before we go to our chapter of the day from Bhagavad Gita?
Prathe Tvam Aham Sada.
Prarthe Tvam Aham Sada. So which part do you like of Prarthe Tvam Aham Sada?
Prathe and Sada.
Prarthe and Sada, right? So they both go together, Ram and Shyam.
Difficult to pick one, Mataji.
Neeral and Kathy, Suyash and Manasi, like that, you know. Sati Shekhar and Victoria, like that. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Anything else? Okay. So what's the chapter we're reading these days?
Chapter 9.
Chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. And should I bring it up, Suresh Prabhu, or you want to do it?
I can do it, Mataji.
Okay, but I'll have to give you privileges to do that, right? Before you say, before you ask for it. Yeah, there you go.
Chapter 9, right?
Yes, chapter 9. Okay, yeah. Now I see Manasi also. Not seeing her for some reason before. Okay. Good. If I need to, yeah.
You can.
Chapter 9, The Most Confidential Knowledge. Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence.
Next. Khyati Mataji.
She read second one?
Yeah. No, we need to read 2 verses.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why I was...
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secrets of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemy. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them.
Text 5. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Priti Radhika.
O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. Yeah, I'm reading Prabhu. Can you hear?
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestation enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end.
Oh, Dhananjana, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be. Text 12. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Hare Krishna.
O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion.
Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering.
I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajur Vedas. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed.
Mataji, are you?
Sorry, Mataji. O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Som juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Hare Krishna.
When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the result of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this normal they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
Those who are the devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. I am the enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth amongst the demigods. Those who worship the ancestor go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a water, I will accept it.
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. In this way, you will be free from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me, in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me.
Preeti
I
Rai.
envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all, but whoever renders service to me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he's engaged in devotional service, he's to be considered saintly because he's properly situated in his determination.
He quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perish. O son of Pratha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, can attain the supreme.
How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, offer obeisance to me, and worship me. Being completely surely you will come to me.
All right. Now let's do our favorite thing, the reflections. So Suyesh Prabhu, if you can stop sharing so that we can all see each other and share our reflections there.
मन्मना मन्मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्करो मामे वेश्यसि
Kaunteya.
कौन्तेया मत्परा I forgot. I forgot.
Just give us the essence. Doesn't matter. Just give us. You tried. Give us the essence. What is the verse trying to tell us?
Manmana madmat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. O my dear Lord, I offer my obeisances unto your lotus feet. Please engage me unto your. Please engage me in your service. Mamesha Simhadevam.
Yeah. So main thing that he's saying is that you should offer of your obeisances to me.
Obeisances.
Yeah, it's a big thing for this particular verse is that Krishna is coming across as very, very strong, right? And also another important thing is that man mana, right? So you should put your mind on me, right?
My heart.
Yeah, put your mind in thinking about me, right? Put your mind in thinking about me, right?
Mataji, can you talk about how we can offer obeisances? I mean, Krishna is talking physical obeisances, and then there are other aspects also, right?
Yes, all kinds of obeisances. All kinds of obeisances. Physical obeisances help. A physical obeisance always helps, set the mood and set the practice. So sometimes you see like people are walking, and it happens a lot in India because you find lots of temples as soon as you step out in any direction. And so you will see people going like this, right? They see something, they go like this. Or somebody's taking a procession, and the deity is going in a procession, and you happen to go by. You might even be in your car, you might be in your bus or whatever. People just have a habit of offering the obeisances like that. So somebody, and of course, in it at ISKCON we do a very elaborate obeisance, which is Dandvat Pranam. So danda means a rod, like, which in Hindi is called danda, right? So danda comes from the Sanskrit word danda. So danda is a straight rod, and what we do is we fall down straight as a rod on the ground to offer obeisances to the Lord when we see them. We do that even when we see the other Vaishnavas. So Prabhus do that. Women would not look very respectful, falling flat on the ground, and for other reasons also. So they do what is called as a half obeisance. So they will do that. And somebody was telling me, and what I found it very, very interesting, is that they said that when you are offering your obeisance, right, then your head, if you look at the level of your head is on the ground, especially for Matajis when they're doing it, and even in the Prabhus when they're doing the half obeisance. So when you're offering the obeisance, then your head is touching the ground, and at that time and in that position, your heart is higher than the head, at a higher position than the head, because all the time we are manipulating from the so-called brain, right, in the material world. So I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, and I'm that, and we don't enter, and we try to analyze things, and all kinds of mental activities we are doing, and not the duty of not activities from the heart, which is loving, right, loving surrender to Krishna. So obeisances, you will go and do that. And Dandavat Pranam, basically when you fall flat, is like complete surrender, because when you are in a position of doing an obeisance, and I feel that sometimes when I'm in the temple, which is jam packed, with people, and all of them are falling down and doing obeisance, and then one kid suddenly comes running into the temple, and you have no idea whether they're going to step over your head or not, like that. So so you are in a dangerous position, when you are doing that. But what they're just saying is that I don't care whether I'm in a precarious position or not, because I am a soul surrendered to you. And the main thing to realize there is that the key words to realize over there is that I am a soul surrendered to you. And which basically means that, when we bow down before the Lord, and in different religions, people bow down to different degrees. And I think the Vaishnava does it the most, right? Flat on the ground, Dandavat. And you'll see Srimad Bhagavatam is full of instances when people who have been meditating on the Lord, when they see the Lord, they just go flat on the floor, like that. So there's a saying which says that there is no point, and I'm just giving you the essence of that saying, that there's no point in bowing down before the Lord if your soul from within does not bow down as well. So you see, I can go through the mechanical process because I come from a country where these kind of things are done. So what Vaisheshika Prabhu says is that you have cultural momentum. People do it, so I also do it. The culture is like that, so we all do it like that, right? So I come from a country where you do it, so it's second nature to me. I saw my mom bow down, and my dad bows down, so I also bow down mechanically. And little kids do that, they do that mechanically. They look very sweet. And sometimes you see a father or mother is also, they take a tiny baby, 8 months old, and bring them to the altar, and then they put the baby on the ground. The baby gets up, and the father just pushes them down again. And then the baby raises the head, and then the father presses the head like that, gently presses the head so that, your forehead touches the ground like that. So it's a practice that you're doing, and which is a good thing, abhyas. When it doesn't come from the heart, you do some practice. So they're doing the practice, but then real obeisance actually comes from the heart, when you are, which is a sweet surrender. And then that surrender will come, it will not just be the body, that then the surrender and the obeisances to Krishna will be also through your words, and through your mind, and through your action. So every time that you get up in the morning and the mind tells you that don't do this, which is don't do japa, let's do this, let's do that, and you scold your mind and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to step my foot on the ground, and I'm just going to get going with my devotional service. So when you make those kind of decisions, like, you have said no to the devil and you have bowed down to the supreme will of the Lord, because that's what he wants us to do. And that's why we were created to do loving devotional service to the Lord. So in so many instances, in so many places, you will see that we are bowing down to the Lord. And also specifically when we are honoring his devotees and we are respecting his devotees, and to a certain extent we are also tolerating his devotees, the thought process that's going inside our mind is that, Krishna, I'm a soul surrendered to you, and this person is your devotee. I will bow down to this one as well, right? And Krishna said in the 29th verse of this chapter, right, that I'm equal to everybody. So Suyash Prabhu, do you want to bring that up? The 29th verse from the 9th chapter, so that we can all get that together.
I think, Mataji, very good point that you brought, right? We sometimes do it mechanically, but doing it with the soul and with that consciousness, even though we are doing it just even at home, is very special. So thank you, Mataji.
So here he says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maiteteshu chapyaham. Right? And the translation for that is that I am equal to everybody, right? You'll have to scroll so that others can also read that. Suresh Prabhu. So Krishna says, yeah, I think it's this is stuck for you. But anyway, the essence of that is that he says that I don't envy. Yeah, now we can see you. I envy no one, and I'm not partial to anyone. I'm equal to all. Right. So that is, I'm equal to all. Period. Right. So if you do this, then you will get this. If you don't do this, then you won't get that, kind of like that stuff. But then he is saying that whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. Like that, right? So when you go and do that extra step towards God, when you're a devotee, so he's saying that my devotee is my friend, and I'm also a friend to him. So he'll give you that little extra mercy, because you're a devotee of the Lord. So we need to have the obeisances. And in the nectar of instruction, there is a Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. So it's also saying, he's also that verse also tells us about the various levels of obeisances that you pay, right? Sometimes you will just pay obeisances just from your mind. And that's a question that people also ask, that, when I come into the temple and I see the form of the deity, I offer my obeisances. How many times should I offer my obeisances to the Lord? Am I just done once, or once I come in, once I leave? Or if I leave the temple, or should I, whenever I leave the room and then again I come back into the room, how many times do I offer my obeisances to the Lord, right? And how many times do I offer the obeisances? And when should I offer my obeisance to my spiritual master? And what if I offer obeisance to my sister master, but he didn't look at me like that, right? So we have to understand that this process of obeisance, Krishna doesn't need anybody's obeisances, nor does your spiritual master, nor do the other devotees. They are not looking for, okay, it gives me a kick to see people bow down before me. They are not in that mood at all. So these obeisances that we offer are for our own benefit. It helps us to, step down from the pedestal where you all sit or stand, and come down a few notches from there and recognize the greatness of other entities which are around us, like that. So when it comes to offering the obeisances again to the deities, we have to be cognizant about, especially when we are in a temple, that when you're offering your obeisances, your feet should be positioned in such a way that they are not pointing to senior people. Like if your spiritual master is there or other senior devotees are there, and you just see the Lord and you start offering obeisances, and you forget that your feet are pointing towards Srila Prabhupada's deity, like that, right? So we have to be cognizant of that. And sometimes, if there is no space, like Janmashtami, temple is chock-a-block full, how will you even go into that position that you go into to offer Dandavat Pranam of all the things, half pranam still might be possible. So wherever that you are, if it's not possible for you to do that, then you can always mentally offer your obeisance, just bow down your head and from your mind, because after all, what has to bow down, is not just the body, but the soul inside has to get into that feel of, a surrender, and then, that I am humble and I'm lesser than you. I'm lower than a blade of grass, and you are the supreme Krishna, or you Vaishnava, you are, much better than I am. like that. And how many times should I offer my obeisances? Okay, before that, now my spiritual master, I'm supposed to bow down to my spiritual master the moment I see my spiritual master. And that would also mean, spiritual master would mean the people who have the devotee who has initiated you, which is your initiation spiritual master, your Diksha Guru. Plus then we have thousands of Siksha Gurus from whom we take Shiksha. So we should also be offering our obeisances to them as well. So Guru means Guru, anybody who's giving you knowledge like that. So it doesn't matter whether your spiritual master is looking at you or looking away, right? Right? When you see your spiritual master, that is the point. When you see your spiritual master, that is the point when you will offer him obeisances. If there is space, you will offer him obeisances there. If there is no space, you can offer mental obeisances like that, right? So use your judgment and don't overindulge also in obeisances to the discomfort of others who are there around you. Then about obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead when you come into the temple, again, have a balanced approach. In the temple, the Krishna is worshipped, actually, Radha and Krishna. You see the Radha Krishna deity. So Radha and Krishna, when Krishna comes in the form of Krishna, as we see the flute bearing, right, the cowherd boy, the sweet boy, right, and so he doesn't have much opulence there, right? He's with the Nanda and Yashoda. So they are simple people, right? So Krishna goes there. What does Krishna eat? What does Yashoda pack for him to eat when he goes to herd the cows?
Dream destination.
Kivda, right? So it's such a simple thing, right? He eats just such a simple thing. But and then what do his cowherd boys do to him? They sit on his shoulders, they pull his hair, they do all kinds of things, right? Because they have a very loving relationship. So our relationship with Krishna is of a very sweet nature. However, in the temple, when we see Krishna and Radha, our service to Krishna and Radha is done actually as Vishnu and Lakshmi. So the worship of Vishnu is done with awe and reverence. And Vishnu will be having all the opulences. So you will see Krishna decked in jewelry and wonderful clothes and things like that. And then because he's the king, right, he's worshipped as a king, which means that the king eats at a certain time, king sleeps at a certain time. We don't care whether you are there or you're not there, whether the lecture is still going on or not going on. If the arti has to start, the arti has to start. If he has to be given food, then Ramananda Saka Prabhu will climb on the altar and he will offer food to Krishna. So we do things at the precise time like that to Krishna. So if you can offer, how would you behave with a king? Right? So when you see the king, you bow down to the king, and when you leave the king's court, you don't show your back to the king. So it's a good practice to do that to Krishna also. Now, it might not be practically possible, and when it is not practically possible, at least be cognizant of that in your mind, that because of space constraints, Krishna, I'm doing that, but ideally I should not be doing that. And he's, Bhavgrahi Janardhan, he knows what's going on inside your mind, and he will not take offense to that. So that's the obeisance that you will give to, that you'll offer to.
So Mataji, 2 follow-up question.
Okay.
First one is, how do we offer, how often we should offer the obeisances to the deities at home? And the second one, right now we are virtual, right? So when we see Guru Maharaj's lecture online or then or devotees, then how do we offer the obeisances here?
Yeah, it actually depends on the mood of the disciple as well as the mood of the spiritual master. For example, and I'll come to your question there, and I'm kind of correlating to another situation that you have where we have the Prem Dhwani, right? Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Paravajikacharya Ashtotashat Shri Srimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And at that time, when the Prem Dhwani is actually happening, at that time the temple is chock-a-block full because it's very close to prasadam time, right? And so everybody's supposed to bow down. But then there's no space for everybody to bow down. So I checked that with Vaishnav Prabhu, and he said that it's okay if you are stuck somewhere and you can only stand, then just stand and just put down your head like that. Because ultimately, what has to bow down is the soul within, right? The soul is the one that is appreciating whatever is happening. So similarly, if you're watching your spiritual master on Zoom, for example, and you see him, It's entirely up to you. First time you might just have that feeling, and that for the special master or for other Vaishnavas that, I'm seeing Shivas Pandit Prabhu, he's my Siksha Guru, I'm so grateful to him, that you might decide to just go on the floor and then offer your obeisances, and which is fine because you're the audience, nobody's seeing you, right? But what if I am the audience, and if I'm speaking here, right, on the internet, and then my spiritual master walks through the door here? What am I supposed to do, right? So those are the questions that depend on the mood of the spiritual master, and you should clarify those questions from the spiritual master, right? I know Vaisheshika Prabhu's mood will be that you are sitting here, you're broadcasting to the whole world, and it's being recorded, so people afterwards will also listen to it. They will have no idea as to what happened, why suddenly Shraddha Mataji disappeared from the screen and fell to the ground and then, got up. They might think that, she fell sick or something like that, right? So we have to also think about the time and the place and the circumstance.
Mataji, I have seen Ramanand Saka Prabhu, like when the kids jam, youth jam is going on, every time he comes inside the room, he will pay obeisances. Before going out, he will pay obeisances.
Yes.
Like that. So many times I've seen him doing that.
Yes. Yeah. It is good for health. It keeps you in good shape. So again, it comes from the heart, how many times you want to do it. Idea is that devotional service should be joyfully performed. Did you hear these words, joyfully performed, recently?
Second verse.
Second verse. Can you bring that up, please? Second verse, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Do we have Suresh Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, you're bringing it up? Okay, good. Susukham kartum avyayam, right? That's what it says, right? Susukham. So it is not just sukh, it is susuk. Oh, okay. Mansi is doing that. I didn't see. Well, yeah. Yeah, just pick it too.
Can you see it, Mataji?
Yes, take us into, this king, this knowledge is the king of education. He's saying that I'm going to give this Raj Vidya to you. And what he's saying is, if you scroll further down and give us the translation for that. Susukham, where the mouse is right now. Susukham means very happy. It's not just happy, it's very, very happy. Okay. And this knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secret, devotional service to the Lord. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So this is a very important thing to keep in mind, that devotional service should be joyfully performed. Right? If somebody is having a back problem, and we tell them that, when you come to the temple, every time you come into the room and every time you leave the room, you have to bow down. How painful it will be for that devotee, right? So we see the instances. I mean, this is a very sweet pastime that I really enjoy every time that I go to Jagannath Puri. Is that there is a temple called Temple of Tota Gopinath. And in Tota Gopinath, Gadadhar Pandit, who is none other than Radharani, incarnated as Gadadhar Pandit. So the Gadadhar Pandit used to worship the Lord over there. And Gadadhar Pandit was getting old, and was difficult because as you get old, your knees start hurting, right? Anybody can confirm that knees hurt with age?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji. Me.
I got all the votes for that. Yeah. So your knees start hurting. And so there's pain over there. But Gadadhar used to come and, and especially doing the decorating the deities of the Lord might appear to be a simple thing, but it is difficult because, you can't step on the deity, you can't lie them down. Like, how you want to dress a small kid, you can do anything to the kid, right? I mean, I still remember once I was my daughter was very small and I wanted to clean her teeth. So she was small. They didn't brush their teeth by themselves. So we would, say, open your mouth, and they would brush them. And so I had, my toothpaste and brush, her toothpaste and brush, and I was, brushing her teeth. And after some time, my daughter said, and I think she was 2 or something, she said, "Mom, let go of my neck." And then I realized that, for convenience, I was holding her by the neck and I was, cleaning her teeth, like brushing her teeth like that. You can't do that to the deity. So when you're doing the deity worship and dressing and things like that, you have to adjust your body. You don't accommodate the deity, you accommodate yourself like that. So it is a difficult thing, to cut a long story short. It's a difficult thing for you to do. And so it was getting difficult for Gadadhar Pandit also to climb out and to reach to the higher parts of the deity, where, like, for example, you have to put a crown on the head of the deity like that. So it was getting difficult. And then one fine morning, when Gadadhar Pandit went and he opened the curtains, he saw that Gopinath was sitting down. The deity itself sat down. And I think this is a very good segue to answer Raja Prabhu's question. He says that, he wants to love to hear about what is transcendental form, how does it relate to deity form we worship in the temple. During meditation, how does one see transcendental form, right? That's a question. So sometimes people ask, like, you come to the temple and you see the Krishna over there with the flute in his hand, standing, beautifully decorated. And you say, so where is Krishna in this? Where is is it in the heart? Is it in the eyes? Where is it, right? Somebody asked this question of Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, where is Krishna in this deity that you see, right? So the deity is Krishna. The deity is Krishna. That's a little difficult thing for us to understand, right? Before it becomes a deity, it is just a simple statue. And that anybody can make the statue, who has got the skills can make the statue, and you will be horrified if you go there to places where these statues are made. It could be a person who has no reverence for Krishna, has no idea, could be from a very different religious background also, and he could be sitting on the deity, right? And then you chiseling away, or not on the deity, but on the statue, right? Chiseling away at the stone to make it, or marble, or whatever it is that you can do that, and machines and things like that. And it's okay, because at that time it is still material. It is just a piece of wood. It's just a piece of stone or gold. What are the various things in which you can make a deity? From what are various materials from which you can make a deity?
Marble.
Stone.
Yeah. So you can make
marble.
Metal. Any?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking for that type of answer. So you said you can make it from stone. You said you can make it from metals.
Wood.
Wood. Yeah.
Marble.
Huh?
Marble.
Soil.
Marble, you said? Yeah. Yeah. Marble is stone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mitti,
Or-
right? Sand. Or
Yeah. Clay. Yeah. Yeah.
Earth, water. No, not water.
Yeah.
Basically, dhatu.
Cloth.
You can also make it with mentally also.
Yeah, you can also make it mentally. You can also, just
What?
sketch a deity on the sand with your fingers. Like if you go to the sea and you're on the sea beach, you can sketch the deity with your hands. Like make a deity and then pray, and then let the deity go back into the sea like that. You can do those kind of things. So you can also have the form of the deity in your mind like that, right? So what
Painting, drawing on the
painting,
canvas or paper.
paper, also through jewelry, right? You can take costly crystals, etc., and you can make a deity out of that. I remember seeing a Srinath deity made like that, with very millions of pieces of precious stones. So you can make a deity like that. But what really converts a statue into a deity is a little process that you will do, which is Pran Pratishtha, right? Yeah, where the priest will invoke and bring the deity to come into that statue. And that is when that form becomes transcendental form. So when you look at the statue before and after, to you it'll appear to be the same, right? Because from these eyes, we cannot see transcendental forms. We will still continue to see it as well, it was marble before, it's marble now, right? But it is actually transcendental. So the whole deity is actually Krishna, and it is Krishna's mercy upon us that because we don't have the right instruments, because we don't have the eyes to be able to see transcendental form of Krishna yet, so he says, okay, I'm going to manifest myself in this form, a form that you can see. Otherwise, in the verse that Varshana Mataji quoted, Krishna is saying, Manmana bhavamat bhakto. You put your mind on me, right? So you engage your mind on me, you meditate on me. That is what we are supposed to do. But because our mind goes here and there, we need a focus. So he's saying, all right, for you, I am going to, appear here in a form that is an approved form. right? It has to be approved, because sometimes you'll see when you go to all kinds of meditation shops and things like that, they will say, yeah, you can worship anything. Yeah. Oh, you are a scientist, or, you can worship your microscope. But Krishna is everywhere. He's in the atom and all that kind of stuff. But, we haven't yet reached that stage to be able to see Krishna in everything. It's the perfection of yoga, actually. We are not there. We distinguish between things. So for us, we need a place. And Prabhupada gives a fantastic example. He says that Krishna makes available to himself in this vigraha. Vigraha means form, and which is called, the deity is called Arch Vigraha in Sanskrit. Arch is, where you can opt to worship. So Arch Vigraha form is a form that allows you to worship Krishna, because we are so fallen that we cannot worship him in our mind, because our mind goes all over the place. So Arch Vigraha, he says, is an authorized form of the Lord that allows you to, that takes your worship, will accept your worship to him. And he gives a fantastic example of the postal services. He says that when you're worshiping to Krishna, you're offering him your prayers. So there's some message that you want to convey to Krishna. And when you're praying, the same thing, message has to go from you to Krishna. Now, when you're using the postal system, you do the same thing. There's a message that you want to send from you to your relatives, to your friends, to your customers, wherever, right? So the message has to go from point A to point B. Now, when you go, you know that you have to put them in a box, right? The letter has to go into a box. Now, if you take a little child and say, okay, go and put it in the box, the child goes out and finds a trash can. And he says, oh, this is a box. Mom told me to put it there. They will nicely and cutely, they'll put it there in the box, then come back and say, done, right? Like that. But that was not an authorized place. That is not the authorized place for you to put your letter. The letter has to go into the letter box for it to be picked up by the postal system. So similarly here also, the Arch Vigraha form is a form that has been authorized through the representative, which is your priest. So Krishna, comes there in the deity form. And that's why when we are in our home and when the deity is there, right, then you have to remember that there is God in your home. And then you might ask the question, who did the pran pratishtha for that? I did not do it. I just purchased the deity, right? Or somebody gave me the deity and I just put the deity there. And I'm been worshipping. So are you telling me that I have been just worshipping a piece of stone all along, and that there was no deity and I was offering food to nobody, like a piece of stone or a wood or a painting? That's not the case. What happens is that when you are worshipping and offering, worship, your prayers, etc., to the form of the Lord in your home, which could be a Laddu Gopal, right? Which could be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it could be a picture, it could be a painting, it could be something you make out of atta at the spur of the moment, or porcelain or plaster of Paris, whatever form that you have in your home. When you start offering for a long period of time, right, reasonable period of time, when you're doing it regularly, then Krishna will come by himself into that deity, into that statue that you have, and it becomes a deity. So even at your home, when Krishna is there, when the deities are there, then they are deities. Like when the statues are there, they are really deities. And we call them as deities. We never go to a temple and say, ye murti hai, murti hai. Murti means statue, right? And Archa Vigraha is the real form of the Lord, the transcendental form of the Lord. To our eyes, it will appear to be the same. For example, iha yasyam hare rasya karmana mansagira niklav apyavastatum jivan mukta uchyate. So there are people who are jivan muktas. Their bodies get transcendentalized, right? When you look at Prabhupada, right, at that age, when he entered into a room, there used to be an aura around him. And his disciples say that he had a golden complexion, right? How can a person from Bengal have golden complexion? Like that, one might think, but that's not the case, because his body is transcendental. And we are, if you are thinking of black and white and things like that, we are hovering on a material plane. So to us, it'll appear that, he's still material like that, but then, there are people around you who are in transcendental bodies, and it's just that we don't know how to distinguish between them. So one of the things we have to keep in our mind is that when there is a deity in our home, Archa Vigraha, then we have to be cognizant of the fact that there is a deity there. And then there are certain rules that we will not do, right? For example, if the deity is there, then you won't just sit and eat food in front of them and enjoy. Right? You will draw the curtains or put something in front of the deity, right? Like that. And of course, you'll first offer your food to the deity, but after that, when you sit down to eat, you have to be cognizant, let them rest, let them be there. and not disturb them like that. When you put your deities to sleep, it's not that, I just picked the deity and I had a fancy little bed there and I put the deity there and deity is sleeping fine. Now let's switch on the television. No, you have to be cognizant of the fact that the deity is sleeping now. I should not be making noise like that, right? Or I should not be fighting in front of the deities. It's a very funny thing that, when the deity gets, when you bring the deities into your home, normally Vaishnavas will invite all the other Vaishnavas, and then some senior priest will come and they will do the installation and things like that. And so after you install the deity in your home, the deity should become the center of your household. And what I mean by center is that your activities and your decisions will revolve around that. And I think one of you was telling me in one of the classes that we earlier classes, is that whatever, just remind me what was that whatever you buy, you first and bring home, you first go and offer it to the Lord. Whether it's a piece of cloth, whether you purchase a sofa, then you go and bring the deity and put them on the sofa. Why? Because you're saying that everything in this house belongs to the deity. So if something has been purchased, it has to be first offered to the deity. If the deity is sleeping, then you should not make noise. If it's time for the deity to eat, then you have to cook and you have to, give them, right? But whatever you're giving, before we get alarmed and think like, do we have to become a Ramananda Sakha Prabhu or do we have to cook like the way they cook at the temple? Krishna has solved it all for you in verse number 926. And if Suyas Prabhu will be kind enough to bring it up, we will just quickly read the translation of 926. Very, very important words. And while you're bringing this up, there's a follow-up question by Raja Prabhu there. So he's saying that I thought transcendental means not physical. Yeah, it's not about physical or mental. It is about material and beyond material. It is about para and apara. Apara is material and para is beyond material. So you transcend the boundaries of the material world and go to the spiritual. So transcendental is spiritual, right? So and it will have form also, like the deity. The deity is there right in front of you. It is a physical thing, right? It's a physical thing, but then the question is, what is it made up of? Now it is made up of transcendental substance. The tattva becomes different, right? My body is made up of different tattva, and 8th chapter talks about that. Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu. 7th chapter talks about that. Bhumi, Apo, Analo, Vayu. Kammano, Buddhireva Cha, right? From the 8 pieces my body is made: earth, water, fire, air, ether, etc. Right? Now, the corresponding to the material earth, there is a spiritual earth. Corresponding to the material water, there is a spiritual water. Corresponding to the material mind, the spiritual mind, and so on. So we have, like they say, the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says that this is a reflection. This world is a reflection. So what that means, that if you are seeing something in the reflection, then that must exist in the original also. So if you see water over here, this means water must exist in the spiritual planets also, right? But that water is actually transcendental water. And sometimes those transcendental things beyond live in the transcendental realm. They are in the spiritual planet, and material things live in the material world, which is the material planets. And one of the rules is that the material items cannot go to the spiritual just like that. We can't buy a ticket. We can't build a staircase. I can't build a plane, which I can say I'm going to sit on it in this body and I'm going to fly off and go and reach Golok Vrindavan. It's not possible to do that at all, right? And but when I'm in the, so material cannot go to the spiritual, but spiritual can come to the material world, right? For example, Ganges. To us, the Ganges appears to be just water, right? But why is Ganges held so sacred? Because it is coming from the transcendental realm. It flows through all the 14 planetary systems, comes to us, and then it goes. Like in the higher planetary system, it's known as Alaknanda. In our planetary system, it is Ganga. And then it goes down below into the lower planetary system, it becomes Mandakini, like that, right? So the Ganges also gets different names according to where it is. And it is coming from the transcendental, causal ocean water. That's from where it is coming. So it is transcendental. Raja Prabhu, it'll appear to be as if it's just water, but it is transcendental. We can't see the difference like that. And so things come down from the spiritual planets like that, like Ganges is an example, a spiritual realm. And the second thing that comes down from the spiritual world. And what is that? It comes down. at a very frequent.
Vibrations, sound, Mahamantra.
The Mahamantra comes there, yes. But Mahamantra, yes, Mahamantra is there and it's spiritual. And Mahamantra is sound, but it is transcendental sound. So when I'm saying Hare Krishna, it's no different from, any other Bollywood song. Apparently, on the face of it, it's no different from that, right? But it is different because it is transcendental sound. And because the transcendental sound is there, and somebody might just ask that, how am I able to make transcendental sounds out of my material vocal cords, right? The answer is that when you start chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, your vocal cords also start to become transcendental. Just as when you take an iron rod and you put it in fire, the iron rod becomes red hot and starts to get the characteristics of fire. Similarly, when the material touches the spiritual in the right way, then it also becomes transcendentalized, over a period of time. So that's why I was saying that there are people moving around you in transcendental bodies, but we don't see them. We see them, but we're not able to distinguish whether this person is in a material body or whether this person is in a spiritual body. And that's why if you bring up verse 9-11, Prabhu, Suyash Prabhu, that will be helpful, or Manasi, whoever is manning that today, 9-11. And Krishna uses very, very strong words over there in verse 9-11. And I 9-11, to those who are in USA, what does 9-11 mean to you?
September attack.
Yeah, September attack, right?
So Mataji, the other thing is, this is right answer, right? Two things which are descending is Ganga and this Hare Krishna mantra.
Yeah, more Krishna himself comes. Yada yada hi dharmasya gyanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijyamiham, right?
And then we forgot Krishna.
Right? So all these incarnations. Do you remember I was telling you the other day the difference between incarnation and falling down, right? Incarnation is when Krishna is there in the spiritual planet, and when he sees there is glanir, for glanir is as decline. In what? In the religious principles. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati, right? Bharata, Arjun, Bharata, descendant of the Bharata. Right? So whenever that happens, then I come down. Srijyamiham, but he's saying Srijyamiham. He doesn't say Janamamham, right? It's not that he takes birth and he has to be created from like that. No, Krishna comes in his same form, in the same body, right? But like I said, and so it is physical there's something physical standing in front of you. It's not a mental thing that is something there in the mind. It's there. Krishna is right in front of everybody 5,000 years ago. Everybody, plants, animals, insects, human beings, rivers, mountains, everybody saw Krishna. But then to realize that this is God or not was not everybody's cup of tea, right? Duryodhana did not see Krishna as Krishna. Arjuna saw Krishna as the real Krishna, right? So you have to be a devotee to be able to see Krishna in the right form, right? And what does Krishna say in this verse? Can somebody read? Whoever's turn it was to read next? And if it was mine, then second person can read.
Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be.
He's saying, fools. Avajananti ma mudha. He uses the word mudha over there. So avajananti, the mudhas don't know. And what do? They derive me when I descend in the human form. He's saying descend. Descend means that you are in the 17th floor of a building and you took an elevator and you came down. So just because you came from the 17th floor to the ground floor doesn't mean your body has changed. The body still remains the same. So he comes down in his self-same spiritual body. So he has a spiritual nose, he has a spiritual eye, he has a spiritual teeth, he has spiritual nails, everything is spiritual. So just you see that the tattva is different. He's made up of Vishnu, his body is made up of Vishnu tattva, the substance. For example, if I take a chair and ask, what is this chair made up of? You will say that this chair is made up of wood. Somebody might say this chair is made up of plastic. Somebody might say this chair is made up of steel, and so on and so forth, cloth, so on and so forth, right? So tattva, what is the substance that you're using to make this? So similarly, Krishna's body and all the Vishnu bodies, like Vishnu avatars, Radha, Krishna, they are made up of Vishnu. They're all made up of Vishnu tattva, the Vishnu substance, right? And when it comes to Vishnu Tattva, you just come in that same body. You don't have to take another body. That is known as avatar. Avatar means to descend. And that's what Krishna is saying, that fools derive me when I descend in the human form. They do not know of my transcendental nature, right? They don't know of that. And so we have to recognize and realize that, and the Shastras are there to tell us, and Gurus are there to, just to clarify that point as well, right? So then, and then the verse, Raja Prabhu asking for the verse. So the verse is, 9, 11 that I just told you about, Krishna descending in that form. Now, what is a fall down? And we had talked about a fall down and fallible and infallible. Yeah, remember Vaishana Mataji, you are collecting the names of Krishna, and we had said that one of the names of Krishna is Achyuta, right? Remember that? Achyuta means one who doesn't fall down. So falling down is the first kind of fall down we are talking about is falling from the spiritual into the material world. So Krishna never falls down, right? He decides on his own sweet will, he decides to come, using whatever vehicle of coming down he wants to use, he will use that vehicle, come in his self-same body. Falling down, Chyut, falling down, as in falling down happens to us, the Jiva souls, who decided not to submit and not to do worship and devotional service to the Lord. We wanted to enjoy ourselves independent of Krishna. When we fall down, so we are Jivas, right? So we are made up of not Vishnu Tattva. We are not Vishnu. Even the soul is not made of Vishnu Tattva. The soul is made up of what is known as the soul substance, or which is called Jiva. And second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we talk about soul and its properties like that. So when the soul comes down here into this material world, right? So the soul, when the soul is in the spiritual world, the soul has got a body. Because in the spiritual world, what are some of the things that you see in the spiritual world, in the picture of a spiritual world? Tell me. What are all things that you see?
Trees, plant, fruits.
Right. Human beings, like that, right? So there are different kinds of things that you see. So they're all spiritual though, right? So they're all spiritual. So so when the soul goes into the Vaikuntha planets or to the Golok Vrindavan, the final, the highest, topmost destination. So when the soul goes over there, the soul has a spiritual body, right? It's made up of spiritual water, spiritual fire, spiritual this and spiritual that. So the body has got, and depending on who you are, what kind of a spiritual body you have, you might have more of this and less of that. What I mean by that, if you're a river flowing in the Vaikuntha planets, then your body has got more of water in it, right? And less of earth, like that. So if you're fire there in the spiritual world, then you have more fire, less water, less earth, like that. So you have a spiritual body there, but when you fall down, that spiritual body actually gets covered with material elements, right? And the third chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I think verse number is 30, chapter is 30 or 31, talks about, it's called movement of the living entity. So it talks in and gives you in great details on how a living entity actually gets into the womb of the mother, and how the material body over there starts to develop, and finally how the pranavayu push him out of the womb and he takes birth over here and gets bewildered by Maya, like that. So we have to remember that falling down is what happens to us, the Jeev Tattvas, and we get a material body which is made up of material elements. So that's the difference between a material body and a spiritual body. When material things come in touch with spiritual, they will get spiritualized, but it takes a long time and might not be visible clearly to the people there. So the deities in your homes are transcendental because of your service that you're offering to them, even if somebody did not do a pran pratishtha. And our mood should still be there. It shouldn't mean that, okay, this deity is new, I haven't worshipped it for 20 years, so it's still a statue. No, it starts with the mood that we have, right?
Yeah. Mataji, so we have just a quick question. So the Ganges water, even though it flows through to different loka, even then, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste of water. It remains the same in all lokas, or it just applies to Bhulok, this Prithvi?
Yeah, people in the higher planets also drink water. There is Kamdhenu. There are a wish-fulfilling trees. There are wish-fulfilling cows. Surabhi cow is there, and she will give milk and water. So taste of water will be there everywhere. Water will have a taste even in Golok Vrindavan.
And taste of water equals to Krishna applies everywhere.
Yes. And what it means, taste of water is equal to Krishna. What Krishna is trying to tell you in that chapter when he's saying that I am the rasoham apsu tu konteya, right? That's what he's saying. So what he's saying there is that he's trying to tell that how tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara, how you can remember Krishna all the time. All the time. So he's saying, here are some examples. I am the taste of water. Now, if you are thirsty, Suyash Prabhu, and you say, give me some water. And I say, Suyash Prabhu, here is some lemonade. Or here's a glass of hot milk or cold milk. And you might drink it, but afterwards you'll say, Pyas nahi bujhi. The taste was, my thirst is not quenched. Because you want water. So there is something very special about water, right? That when you want water, then at that time you only want water. Coca-Cola, Fanta, anything, alcohol will not do. I mean, after having a lot of alcohol, the alcoholists say, I want some water now. I'm getting dehydrated, right? Even after drinking all those things, people come into water. So there is something there, right? What can you define what is the taste of water? We like it though, right? Do you like water, Suresh Prabhu?
I do, and perhaps every area has a different taste of water.
Yeah.
Still, we can't define it.
Yeah, we can't define it, right? Yeah. So there is something about, so he's saying that I am that. So in that chapter, what Krishna is trying to tell you in his own subtle way is that I am the best in everything. Among the Pandavas, I am Arjun, right? He says that. So think of me as the best in everything. So when it comes to all the things that are there, all the beverages that you're there, I mean, water is something that, we can't do without. And then even when we are, drinking the water, we can do many things with water, right? You can take a shower, this and that, right? But when it comes to drinking that water, it's such an undefinable thing. And it is really, when you want water, you want water. You don't want anything else. It means there is something there. There's some value over there. That is Krishna. So next time we drink water, we can think of this verse. So the idea is that, we have to do thought substitution. That whatever lousy thoughts come into our mind all the time, we have to replace them by these thoughts which will continue to connect us with Krishna. And you are in that realm, right, where you operate, Suresh Prabhu, right? In the mind and how people think and all that kind of stuff.
Psychology.
Yeah. So that's what we are trying to do. What the scriptures are trying to tell you, that you get your neural networks all laid out nicely so that you can operate now.
Hare Krishna Mataji, we were talking about Arch Vigraha. When the temple opening of Pune happened in BCC, the president of the country came, Pranab Mukherjee, and the security people went to check in the temple that there is nothing because of the security reasons. So when they went to Gaur Netai, when they went to Gaur Netai, Mataji, the Netai, when they went to the stick which he had to check whether there is nothing, it was pushed back. And he went again it was pushed back. And then Radheshyam Prabhuji told him that don't worry, he is angry because you are going again and again to check him. He is Balram basically, he doesn't like it to be checked. So that is why.
Yeah.
And this was such a beautiful incident.
Yeah. Exactly. And there's so many deity stories that you get once you get started, and such loving exchanges the deity will have with Krishna. The Kheer Chor Gopinath, right? He sets aside a little kheer for his devotee, like that. Yeah. So there's so many stories of the deity. Deity will walk. The deity does, change his clothes. I mean, there are some temples. There's a temple, very famous temple in Vrindavan, where in the night people go and they leave the dress for the deities and some food for the deities, and nobody goes there. Actually, nobody's even allowed to go there in the night. And in the morning when you come, the food has been eaten and the dress has changed, So deities, they come and they dress themselves up. So deity is Krishna. So if you if you believe in that, the deity is Krishna, then nothing is impossible for the deity to do because it's Krishna. Krishna can do anything. Eating from a plate and putting on clothes is the simplest of things, right? For him to do, he's capable of doing so much more there. Yeah. And then there's a question on Facebook, and welcome Mukesh Ojapahu also for joining us. How to adjust, strike a balance, elements in the spiritual body. For example, if someone is lazy, he or she might be heavy on earth element, making him lazy. I guess through spiritual practice, is there any special trick? Yeah. So when people are lazy, a person will be lazy. That means he's in which mode? We did the modes last week, right?
Ignorance.
Yeah.
Ignorance.
Yeah, so it's got more to do with the mode of ignorance, and not necessarily that they have got more earth in their body, or it's a heavy body. There are people who are very heavy to look at, and they do so much of service to Krishna. They'll be lifting things all around, walking here and there. So it's more like, which mode is actually acting upon you. It doesn't have to do with what type of a body that you have. It does depend on what you are putting inside that body. How do you put things inside your body? What's the mechanism?
Food we take.
The food you eat, right? The food that you eat is also in the various modes. So if you drink alcohol, then it will have effects on his body. You will feel lethargy the next day and you will become lazy. It doesn't matter whether you have a heavy body or you had a light body, you had a beautiful body, or you didn't have a beautiful body. In all the cases, alcohol will have some effect on the person like that. Right? So and what environment are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you reading? What are you cooking? So there's a whole chapter, right? Chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita that talks about that. And not only that, then Krishna will go and also talk about in the 17th chapter, and then I think in the 18th again, he comes back again and again and talks about the modes of material nature, because we are in this material world and we are connected by the modes of material nature. And the modes of material nature fight with each other for supremacy, and sometimes this one wins, sometimes that one wins, sometimes ignorance overpowers us, right? Even though we want to get up in the morning, which is to do devotional service, which is, beyond the mode of goodness, it's transcendental activity we are trying to do. But the mode of ignorance, doesn't allow us to get out of the bed, right? So it can happen like that with us. Sometimes this one wins, sometimes that one wins. And we have to stay connected always with the transcendental. If not the transcendental, at least, go up to the mode of goodness, Sattvam Yad Brahma Darshanam. So from that level, you'll be able to transcend and go beyond. So you have to come to the mode of goodness. The idea is always to try there, trying to, if you get a job that keeps you in a lot of mode of passion, then it'll have its own effect on us, because we are, we have to be angry, we have to be shouting at people, we have to be hustle and bustle. So it's difficult when the body is moving so much. It's difficult for the mind to stay still. That's why you notice that when we were young, if you would sit on a chair and if you'd swing your legs, the parents would scold you and say, don't swing your legs. And you'll be like, I want to do it. Like, no, don't do it. And then, okay, fine. You don't do it in the home, but you go to school. And then in school also, there's a table and a chair, and you sit on the chair and then you swing your legs. And the teacher now scolds you and says, no, you can't do that. So what is it? Why is everybody scolding you? Because we come from an Aryan tradition. Krishna was scolding Arjuna, right? The other day, Anarya Jushtam, you're doing an Aryan kind of activity. So Aryans believe in the spiritual, right? They believe in the soul. So you have to go to and pursue a life which is conducive for you to ultimately find the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to do that, you need to have a calm and a quiet mind to be able to meditate on the Lord. And the mind will not be able to stay still if the body is not still. Right? Even after stilling the body, the mind moves, that's another story. But if the mind is, if the body is not still, the mind will not be still. And that is why, as the first stage is, what do they teach you? They teach you yoga asanas. They will tell you to go and sit in that asana, go and sit in that asana. The difficult maneuvers, they will tell you, put your hand like that, and you put your other hand, you do the other, and then they say, stay in that position for 30 seconds or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. That's what your yoga teacher will tell you. The idea is that, you first still your body, and then you will be able to even think of stilling your mind, which is so horrible. Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balvadranam, right? So back again to the deity form, and one of the forms of the deity was that you think of Krishna in your mind, right? So what exactly is a mind, and how does Krishna come into our mind, right? Because we are so accustomed to using our senses to see various objects, right? So mind is nothing but a screen. It's like a television screen, and on which various images are projected. From where do those images come? Our indri, our senses will bring that. For example, you see a form, you see a lotus flower outside. So that outside world gets projected on the screen of the mind, and then the soul sees that. So there are different kinds of millions of images that you gather over a period of time. And even during a day, there are thousands and thousands of pictures that you gather. They're all being projected on the screen, right? And then the mind is seeing that. So in that same screen, right? So right now, I'll ask you all to do an exercise. Can you just grab something which is there in front of you, on your table or wherever you are? If you can grab something which is there in front of you, and show me what you have in your hand. Okay, she's you got a brush? Is that a brush, Sudevi Mataji? I can't see that.
Pen.
It's a pen. Oh, it's a pen with a pom-pom on the top. Okay. It looked like coronavirus to me.
It has a face also.
I'm just kidding. Okay, Khyati Mataji has got something there. And she got a patram pushpam phalam toyam. She got a patra. Garima Mataji. Okay. Varshana, are you going to show us something? Sonal, what do you have?
I have the Gita.
Wow, look at that. And then Chitra Mataji has got the iPhone, and Varshana Mataji is picking up a mango. Oh, beautiful. No, don't tempt me now. And Khyati has gone to the kitchen and she's doing something over there. She'll give us something from there. Okay. Ah, yeah, this one. Okay. And Suyash has got a mouse, and Manasi has got, ooh, look at that. Look at what Manasi has in her hands. Very good. Right? And so you can see these things, right? You are using your eyes and you are seeing this. Okay. Who had the mango?
Varshana.
Varshana Mataji.
Varshana had the mango, right?
Varshana Mataji.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, all of you except for Varshana Mataji, okay? And those of you who are on Facebook also, you can do this exercise with us here. All of you except for Varshana Mataji, close your eyes and think about the mango. Okay? Now, open your eyes and tell me what was the color of the mango you saw?
Yellow.
Orange.
Yellow. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, so now you're able to see without your eyes, huh? That is where you saw the mango is the screen of your mind. Right? So you are capable of doing that. Now, everybody except for Manasi, close your eyes and see the deity that she showed, the Krishna. You want to show it to us one more time, Manasi Mataji? Can everybody see it clearly? Say something, Manasi, so that you come on the screen. I want to say something.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, can you see it nicely? Yeah, okay, now gone. All right, now I want you to close your eyes again. And yeah, seriously, you also. And Manasi, you can also close your eyes and then see the Krishna. Can you describe what is the color of the cow over there?
White.
White, right? And what is Krishna wearing?
Yellow dhoti with
Yellow.
green and pink or red on his waist, that cloth.
Something, right? What was he holding in his hands?
Flute.
Okay.
Flute.
What was the color of the flute?
Yellow.
It was not visible.
It was not visible. Okay, right? And then how was his face?
Blue.
White only.
Okay. And was he wearing something on his head?
Yes.
Peacock feather.
Peacock feather.
Okay. And was he wearing a turban on his head?
Yes.
Yes.
What was the color of his hair?
Golden.
Okay. Now, Manasi Mataji, please show us one more time. Say something so that people want.
He's wearing a crown.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So, say all others mute yourself, because if anybody else speaks, then he goes away from the screen. I don't want to see that.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Right. So you see, as your relationship with Krishna increases over a period of time, then by looking at Madan Mohan, right, or Gopinath, right, you will see more and more in your mind. You will be able to form a much more clear picture of Krishna. Right now, it was just a small glance that you took, but even then, you did a very good job. You did a very good job, right? So that is Krishna. And so, Raja, this is how you meditate in your mind on Krishna. So that's the form of the deity that gets in your mind. So can you imagine that if you're forming a transcendental thing, you're putting images, right? Mind is a screen on which you're putting images. Now, images can come from outside the world, right? Or you can just have them there in your mind through your own efforts. The soul can put that, right? You captured something, it goes into the mind, but you can keep on bringing it back again into the mind, right? Without having to look at it. You brought it back. And that's the exercise that we do. And you pick up a form of the deity that is very dear to you, or a form of the deity that you like, right? And when you like that, whatever form you like, it will be easier for you to meditate on that because you like that form, right? So when you do that, that is called as meditation, and that's how you're bringing Krishna into your mind, right? So right now Krishna is coming like this and like that, and the reason we are not able to see things clearly, for example, sometimes his feet will disappear, sometimes his face will disappear, and we'll be struggling very hard, and all that we'll remember in the mind is his dhoti, well, yellow striking yellow, like that, right? The more you practice this, you'll be able to bring in more features of Krishna in your mind, like that, right? And what happens is, why the pictures are hazy is because there's no space in our mind. There's a lot of other stuff out there going on. The dirt in our mind, the lust, anger, pride, the 6 enemies of the mind are there, right? So they're obscuring the view of the Lord. And once the mind is clear, right? When the mind is clear, actually, you are able to see yourself. The soul is also, you're able to see yourself, the soul, in a clean mind. Because a mind is actually not a screen. A mind is actually a mirror. And when you as a soul will look onto it, you will see the soul back there, and then Krishna will also reveal in the next stage there itself. But right now, this mirror is so much covered with dust that it looks like it's a screen. Parda hai, aur uske upar things are coming like that onto the screen. So that form that you're forming by closing your eyes and looking at that Krishna, that is the 6th form of the deity that you can have. Because if you don't have anything, or you're in a country that doesn't allow you to do worship, right? You could be in a country like that. Or if Hiranyakashipu is sitting next to you and you want to meditate on Krishna, what will you do? The mental form is there, always ready. And you can do anything. Like, look at the power of the mind. You want to change his garland? You want to put more flowers? You want to put 100 mangoes in front of him? You want to put gulab jamuns? You could put anything. Beyond your means, within your means, anything you can put in front of the mental form of the deity. Now, before we jump to the conclusion, and sometimes, when we are in the mode of ignorance, we might just say that, all right, who wants to go and make bhoga? I've got leftovers from here. Let me mentally offer something to Krishna. Right? I can mentally offer all these things that I said. But when you are mentally offering things to Krishna, remember, then you have to eat prasadam also mentally only. Right? Tit for tat, right? Fair enough. You're offering him mental stuff, then you also have mental stuff, right?
True.
Like that. So the mental is only for the dire places. For example, there is this very famous story of the Brahmana who was very poor, and he didn't have means to purchase whatever was required to make bhoga for Krishna. So he used to close his eyes, and then he used to mentally prepare kheer, right? So he will bring the kheer, bring the milk to boil, put the rice, and he's stirring, add the sugar, whatever condiments to be added. He's done all that, and then offer it to Krishna mentally again. And mentally, you can bring a golden thali, you can bring spiller spoons, whatever you want, you can do. So he was doing all that, and then and all this is happening as a meditation. So he's offering this to the Lord, and he's thinking like, oh, let me just check, because I just took off the kheer from the fire. Let me see if it's too hot. And he puts his finger, and then he feels the in his finger. He opens his eyes, and his finger was burned. So this is amazing. Mind-boggling instances, which is very difficult to explain scientifically that why does it happen, but it happens. Right? It's there in the scriptures. It happened. So mental is very powerful. Mind is very, very powerful. And yeah. So Kathy, was that a short enough answer for your question? An hour of rambling.
No, but it is really helpful, right? I think the point that reflected with me especially is like there's so much of dirt, right? That and how special your relation with Krishna, you will have that form of darshan. So that was really nice, Mataji. It's like a self-check, right?
Exactly.
There is
Exactly.
now level 0.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because I remember once my mom, when my mom was sick, she had paralysis, and it started with the tongue, and so she could not speak, and which was very, it was pretty disastrous for her because she liked to talk and travel and things like that. So anyway, I came to know that there was a person who was learned and he was able to cure people of these kind of ailments. So I took her to him, and so he was doing some mantras and things like that, and he was able to make her speak for a little while, but that didn't last. But anyway, that's a side thing. So he was asking her to focus. And so he put her in a trance, like or hypnotism, whatever they did to her. And so I was watching, I was standing next to her. So I see that this person put her into a trance. And then he said, he was talking to her, on like, giving instructions to her. And then I saw that they went on a different level of communication because I could not hear what they were talking, but it is still material talk. I could not hear what he was talking, but I could see that my mom was nodding her head as if she's listening. And then he asked her a question, which I could hear. And then she did not respond because I could not hear her response because she could not speak because of the paralysis, right? But then I saw that other person nod his head that, they were communicating on that level. And then finally he said, okay, now he was doing something and the voice was coming from her mouth. And so he said, now you say Shiva, now you say Shiva, now you say Shiva. And my mom opens her mouth and says, Rama, Rama, Rama. I was like, completely thrown off. Like, see, whatever is there inside, it comes out. If you are a devotee of the Lord, like, I don't know, maybe Khyati Mataji was, when she closed her eyes, she saw her Laddu Gopal. They might not see Gopinath. Like, so that's why I said you will meditate on a form of the Lord which is dear to you.
But Mataji, that also changes, right? Like,
and that's fine. Yeah. If it changes, it's okay. Yeah.
It's like the most recent form that you saw and got attracted to. You usually remember that one. And then something else that you saw, it comes to you again.
Yeah. See, it's like, yeah, and that's why you need some. That's why you need some guidance. That's why you need some guidance, right? For example, if a girl is engaged to marry some boy, right? So the mind is on that boy, and then another one comes along, and she's like, oh, maybe I should marry this one. I'm not yet married. Maybe I should marry this one. And then in a dilemma, what do? Then you go and ask somebody, and they will tell you what to do, right? So similarly, when we have dilemma like this, on which form do I worship, which form do I not worship, then go and ask,
We are different form of Krishna, because today my god sister Kala Keli gifted me the book of Darshan, and I was looking at it and I was like, oh no, I like this one. No, this one is beautiful.
Can you give us a darshan of the darshan?
Yes, I can bring. Yeah, so that was really like the best birthday gift ever, and I'm really thankful to her. And in a way,
Mataji, is it your birthday today?
No, it was a few months ago, but because of the lockdown, we couldn't bring. So today, special thanks to Shraddha Mataji and Venudhari Prabhu who came to give the book. So,
hey, when did I come? I never stepped out.
You arranged, Mataji.
Okay, I was there in spirit.
Yes. So this is the book.
Oh, can you show some pages, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay, let me put the spotlight on Khyati Mataji. Hold on, so that we can see her.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah. Yes. Good. Show us more.
Show a big one.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Rukmini Dwarkadish.
Wow, very nice.
No, you can say.
Yeah. So this is this a deity?
yes, because they are.
Yes, Mataji.
What tribe? What type? It's a
Paper and
yeah,
painting.
Transcendental.
yeah, it's a painting. Yes, yes.
So when you were saying about you can make it for the pearl, I was remembering this because to me it felt like crystals
Yeah,
for Gornitai. So
yeah, yeah.
this is the Mayapur.
Yeah, Panchatattva deities.
Jai Shri Krishna.
And
Yeah.
then here.
Ashtasakis with Radha Madhav.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So thank you, Kalakili Mataji. All glories to her enthusiasm and her service.
That I don't. What is that place? I forgot. Mataji, is the name written here? Bottom?
Yes, name is written
Not in
over
the
here,
bottom, I
not in
think.
the bottom, but in the front they give the
New
temple
Vraj
description. So New Vraj Dham
Yeah.
temple.
Is
What
that
is the
is that
country
Italy?
name?
Is it Italy? Is it Italy?
Hungary.
What is it?
Hungary and
She has
And-
blue eyes. Yeah, Radha has blue eyes, right? So it looks like Italy or
What
something.
is that name of the actual place?
Hungary, Somogya.
Ah.
Hungary.
Somogya.
Yeah, they are very beautiful deities.
yeah. So I was looking at it, and like in some pictures, Radharani looks like chubby. So I'm like, okay, this is the effect of having
So it's okay to be chubby.
not exercising. And my Prabhu is like, no, they're well fed. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, actually, about the deities, you know, those who like in our temple also, when they are dressing the deities, they tell us that, you know, nowadays the clothes are not fitting them.
They
Yeah.
might.
It's a very different science. Yeah, it's a totally different mind.
Yes, Mataji. Even Srila Prabhupada once visited one temple where he saw that the deities had grown lean and all, and then he understood that they were not being served well. Deities also grow thin and fat like that.
Yeah.
And then what Varshana Mataji was saying about the expansion of Lord Balram. So today I was changing the dresses of my Jagannath, and Lord Balram threw off the turban and the necklace 3 times because I had not dressed properly Subhadra Rani. So when I went back, corrected that, and then it stayed proper.
Yeah. It's a very sweet relationship that you have with the deity. Like that. Yeah. So there's one picture that I wanted to share here.
Krishna Balram, there was only one with Krishna Balram.
Can you see this?
Yeah,
This
see
is the one we got today. Yeah.
So this is the darshan book in their hands.
Wow, Mataji, nice.
Okay, yeah. So
I think this is the one which had Krishna and Balram
together.
We never saw that.
Yeah, and then there is one where Krishna is putting hand on Balram. I think that was somewhere in Europe.
But that's fine. I think we'll deviate from whatever.
There are so many pictures like that.
yeah.
Usually we have Krishna and Balram temples.
There's a Krishna Balram temple. The famous ISKCON temple in Vrindavan is Krishna Balram.
Yes.
Right? Main also. Yeah.
Here, like the way Balram is putting hand on Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you, sorry.
And there is one of the paintings where Balram is actually massaging Krishna's feet, and in some of the deity pictures we see the Balram is resting his hand on Krishna. So yeah, different moods.
Yeah.
And the best picture, not able to hold the book.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, we can start with the reading for today's.
Yeah, this is amazing, isn't it?
Thank you so much, Mataji, for that virtual darshan.
Thank you for everyone for the blessings, and then special thanks to Kalakeli Mataji. So it's all her enthusiasm. And Venudhari Prabhu for bringing the book.
Exactly. I mean, it's
Hare Krishna.
that they're doing. Yeah, they are driving.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He went from here, then he said next year to go to San Remo.
Yes,
Temple
yes.
to here to San Remo.
Yeah. The whole weekend he will just drive.
So much of that.
That is seva.
Yeah, that's amazing service.
Yeah. So it was your karma.
It is devotee's mercy.
And because of your karma, you got mercy of the devotee. Sometimes it is causeless, but I don't think in your case it is causeless. You have sufficient cause.
No, it is causeless, Mataji.
But yeah, Kalakili Mataji has been so excited for months altogether. Because of this corona, she was not able to do anything on your birthday. So she was, can we? Yeah. So good.
Yeah, and I kept telling her, I will come to your home.
But she could contain it no longer. Yeah. So what do we do now? We are at 7:45 now.
We'll continue next time.
And we have Rohit Kumar Prabhu and Rupashri Vasudha-devi Dasi Mataji is also joining us here. Yeah, welcome to the call. Yeah. So, should we call it a day today?
Yes, Mataji. Because if we start now, it will take very long.
Yeah.
It'll take another hour. Yeah, it doesn't matter. This is Krishna's plan, and that's what we have to align ourselves, right? If things don't happen according to what we had planned, but this is what Krishna's plan was, he's like, no, you talk about Deity today, not about karma, right? And which is a very good topic, because then we got to see the darshan book also. So, any last thoughts that from chapter 9 that we read? Or from the Deity discussions that we did that you're carrying away?
Always think of me, pay obeisances unto me.
Yeah.
Declare boldly that my devotee never perishes.
Yeah.
Even if one commits abominable action because he is doing devotional service, he is considered saintly.
Yeah, apichet sudaracharu. Yeah. Garima Mataji, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, Mataji, I was trying to remember that whatever you lack, I preserve, and whatever you have, I preserve.
Yeah,
and
Mahatma. Yeah, Yogashema Vahamya.
Yogashema Mahayam.
Very nice.
That's one question.
Yes, go ahead. You can ask questions. Yeah.
So in text 32, Krishna is saying, "O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me."
Son of Pritha.
Sorry, Pritha. Sorry, I cannot do that mistake again. Those who take shelter in me, though they be of a lower birth, women, Vaishyas and Shudras. So the woman means like you said, like spiritually, Krishna is the only one, and all the souls over here in the material world are all women. In that context or the physical context? And if
yeah,
Purusha.
Yeah, so Krishna is the only Purusha, and all the souls are Prakriti, right? That's one level we are talking about. The second is when these souls have come to the material world, right? Then they can get two types of body. They can be in a female body, they can be in a speaking, right? So this one that he's talking about is for the embodied soul that has got a body. Okay, so this rule about you can do that even. So what he's saying that you should go and look at the verse which is before that, prior to that verse, right? We talk about apichet suduracharo bhaste mamanane bhag, right? Sadhureva samantavya. You consider him as a sadhu. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigatati. He'll very quickly become righteous again. Why? Because he's doing devotional service, right? And then he says, Kaunteya priti janehi name bhaktya pranashyati. My devotee never perishes. He says that, right? And then he's saying that those who take shelter of me, even if they are of a lower birth, and from the lower birth he's defining ye pisu papa yonayaha. right? So when they are, if there are Sioux, if there are ladies, right, or Vaishyas, right, Striyo Vaishyas tata Shudras are there, right? They can also do that. And then lower birth. Who are the lower birth? And in Bhagavatam it is defined Kiratu Hunindra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shambha Yavana Khasadaya Yene Cha Papu Apu Ashraya Shraya Chudvanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Namaha. So there goes a list of, the Yavanas, the Greek, the Hunas, the Mongolians, all that, is listing all that as they are the people of the lower birth. They are also there. And then, of course, women. So here they are talking about women who are in material body, but then they're not talking about women in a material body who are pursuing devotional service. They are not of lower birth at all, right? Because devotional service is in the transcendental plane, right? And here he's talking about those on a material plane. You are in a Shudra's body, you are a woman's body, man's body, like that. So in general, women in general, might not take too deeply to devotional service. They might come and listen to all the lectures, and whenever there's a lecture going on, you'll see that there are more women in the audience than men. But when it comes to the higher levels of spiritualism, then women don't go there like that, or they might get distracted. But again, it's a in general thing, and specifically it does not apply to you, Mansi Mataji, because you're doing devotional service. You're not hovering on the material plane. You're working on the transcendental, where men and women are equal, because they are both souls, right? Like that.
Just starting, Mataji.
Yeah, because what he's saying there in this verse is 32. So he talks about the bad people, and then he's saying that even if they deviate, they will still come back. And then he's talking about taking shelter of him, and then he says that it's a style of speaking that he's saying, those who take shelter of me, like women and Shudras and Vaishyas, like their lower births, like that, they will get, they will attain me. What to talk of? Then the next verse he will say, right? What to talk about those who are righteous people, right? Those who are righteous, they are devotees, they are the saintly kings, right? Striyo Vaishyas tata Shudras, saintly, Rajas riches tata. That's the verse that he says, right? Kim punar brahmana punya bhakta raja riches tata anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. So he says that, what to talk of those who are the brahmanas and who are the, Rajrishi, the saintly kings, and like that. So it's a way that he's saying he's not talking about women in a derogatory sense. He's just talking about the consciousness that, in general, ladies might have, they not take much to devotional service. They are more engrossed in my husband, my wife, my children, my home, my jewelry, like that. But again, it is generally speaking. So don't get disheartened at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so then anything else you want to say, or should we say Haribol? Okay. Vanchikalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gopremanande Hari Hari Bol. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on this call. And we're going to meet tomorrow, Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we have a short class tomorrow, right? It'll be a short one. And any spillages or, that are there, we'll cover them on Monday again, right? Then from today, now, till all of you here on Facebook as well as on Zoom. Vanchukalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Gopremanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so I'm going to end the conference call, but before I do that, I want to hear a Hari Bol from all of you. So please unmute yourself.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Oh, wow. All right. Look at that. Arjuna is speaking. Arjuna Uvacha. Okay. All right. Take care. Everybody stay in touch with Krishna and Khyati Mataji. Enjoy the book.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.